It's official. Big Brother 14 is finally here. Not only do we get to sit back, relax, and watch all of this summer's drama unfold, but we get to welcome back 4 returning house guests. 4 of my favorite house guests from past seasons. I'm so excited because I'm kind of a semi-recent Big Brother fan. You know, I never really got to see Mike Boogie or Janelle compete in their seasons, or in All Stars. So I'm excited to see them go this season. I started Big Brother with Big Brother 8. You know, Dick and Danielle sealed it for me. I've been in love ever since. I've watched every episode, and to say that I'm a fan is a loose term. I mean, I live this show. I'm so into it that I jump up and down for joy every time my favorite house guest wins HOH or veto competition. I scream when idiots in the house believe other idiots that people are saying things that they're not. I laugh when everybody makes fun of each other in the diary room and nobody knows what each other actually really thinks. And I start to cry when my favorite house guests get backdoored or leave the show. Oh, Jeff. He should have won both of his seasons. You know, I even go as far to eat oatmeal only for weeks straight when my favorite house guest is on slop. And it's an awesome diet. It's called the Big Brother diet. I suggest that you try it. I've lost so much weight because of it. Anyways, Big Brother is my everything during the summer, which is why I'm going to start to blog about it. So let's start with the basics. I've taken the 12 new house guests and I've categorized them into 2 categories. My haves and my have-nots. So, let's start with the haves. My haves include Ian, Jojo, Shane, Willie, Kara, and Danielle. My have-nots are as follows, which are basically everybody else. Ashley, Frank, Jen, Jody, Joe, and Will. So the reason why I chose these 6, or this half of the 12 house guests, is because I truly believe that they have a little bit of what it takes to make it to the sequester, or the jury house, this summer. Now, let's start with Ian. Ian is a super fan, and I would argue he's super normal. I mean, the most normal out of everybody else. His education on Big Brother Past will help him advance far, and his normality will keep him a solid spot in the house. I think that the other house guests will simply fall in love with him and want to keep him around. And as long as he doesn't kick too much butt during the mental competitions and keeps his IQ level a secret, I think he can very well be sitting in the final 2. If he has his thinking cap on tight enough, he would make a side alliance with Team Brittany. We'll get into teams a little bit later, and ditch his actual team because, let's face it, Team Boogie, well, they'll probably be out of the running soon. JoJo will go a long way as well, I think. Although I have a feeling that her emotions are going to get the best of her this season, she could probably go a long way. We saw how poorly she does in endurance comps, so I'm hoping that my girl, she's my favorite lady this season, can step it up during the mental ones. If she sticks with her team, I have no doubt that Willie and Shane will keep her in check. Possibly a showmance? Shane and Willie, I believe, are going to be the final 2. They remind me of Jeff and Russell, only less aggressive. During their interviews, I absolutely hated them. But after seeing their strategies and gameplay in action, I definitely think that these 2 will run the house. As long as Willie can keep the limelight off of him for the rest of the season, he could walk away with it all. Now, Kara and Danielle, they're wild cards for me. Do I think they'll make it to the end? No. Do I think they might make it halfway? Maybe. I included them in the haves section because, let's be honest, they're just way more likable than everybody else that I put in the have-nots, at least in my opinion. You know, Danielle talked so much crap about her gameplay and athleticism in her preseason interview with superpass.com, but when it came down to it, she just couldn't compensate. This worries me. I do think she will be seen as a go-to house guest for other players, though. You know, I can see Danielle solving problems between other house guests or being that shoulder to cry on when things get rough. Maybe it's the Southern hospitality thing or the fact that she's lying and saying she's a kindergarten teacher. I don't know. I think everyone in the house likes her. And I think everybody in the house likes Kara. I mean, the girls want to keep Kara around because they want to be here, and the boys want to keep Kara around because she's friggin' gorgeous. I think she'll be this season's Jordan. Always nominated, never evicted. If she keeps it up, she could walk away without ever having to win anything. Now on to the have-nots this season, and God, do we have a bunch of losers. I mean, Ashley is a walking joke. Frank, Jen, and Will are the epitomes of living stereotypes. Jody's already evicted, and Joe... I mean, does Joe even know that he's in the house? I think Ashley is totally playing up her ditziness. Much like Jessica Simpson, this just cannot be real. You know, I think that she thinks that this strategy will get her far, but really, she's just going to be this season's Rachel, minus the amazing competitiveness and the actual drive to win. Frank, Jen, and Will they're just god-awful. I mean, we already had Frank on the show in another season, and his name was Hayden. But what Hayden had that Frank doesn't is personality. And in my opinion, Hayden did not even deserve to win Big Brother 12. The final two totally should have been Enzo and Reagan, with Enzo taking the win. As much as I didn't like Enzo, he had the best social game strategy I've ever seen on the show. Well, from seasons 8 through now. You know, Frank is horrible, and spoiler alert, he's nominated with Kara this week, so I hope he goes home. Fingers crossed. Jen. Really? I mean, I have a feeling this skank is going to get on everyone's nerves this season real fast. I do believe, however, that her and Kara, possibly Ashley, could have a wild night together if they had one too many beers. I mean, wouldn't that be awesome to just watch on the live feeds? But really, she sucks. She was horrible in last night's HOH competition, and I do not think that she'll be any better in the mental ones either. I think her social game is going to blow up in her face, and I think out of everybody in the entire house, she's going to walk out of this house with the most enemies than anyone else this season. I get that vibe. I get that vibe that she's not really that likable. She's going to be outspoken, she's going to say what's on her mind, and she's going to have zero filters, and no one's going to like to hear what she has to say. Will, I mean, don't get me wrong, he's going to be hilarious to watch, Will with one L. Much like last season's Lawan, he's not going to go far. I think that the guys are going to hate him and the girls are going to get annoyed with him real fast. In fact, the only friends I think he may have in the entire house are going to be Janelle, his coach, and Ashley, because the three of them put together make up the entire cast of Mean Girls. I don't think he knows anything about the game, and even if he makes it halfway to the halfway mark, I'll be super surprised. You know, poor Jody. She's gone already. But, you know, I saw that one coming a mile away. My strategy, if I ever make it into the Big Brother house, fingers crossed, is to get rid of all the 40-plus-year-olds first. I hate old people. Where do I even start with Joe? He is just god-awful. I think he's going to lean on his occupation for his strategy, and it's just not going to do him well. I mean, I watched all the preseason interviews, and there are other cooks in the house, bro. And they can compete, unlike you. If Janelle was in Dan's position last night, I'm pretty sure that Joe would be gone already and Jody would still be in the house. I mean, they're like the exact same person. Now that my haves and have-nots are settled, let's talk about winning potential this season. I would bet money that Brittany's team and Dan's team will be the final two coaches left. I think Janelle will be out first, followed shortly by Boogie, maybe. I think Dan's going to ride on Kara's coattails, or should I say bunny ears. And Brittany has Shane and Willie to fall back on. I think Janelle, she's just going to get frazzled with her team because she picked, like, the worst possible people ever, and she's going to snap. And I think that Boogie's only hope is Ian. If the two of them put their heads together and really assess the competition, Boogie could win with Ian by his side. Unfortunately, I don't think this will happen. I have a feeling that Kara may play into Ian's attraction towards her, string him along, and cut him loose. I mean, if she has any gameplay at all, she can already see how in love with her he is, and she could totally use that to her advantage. Out of all the coaches, I think that Brittany wants this win the most, and you know what? I think she deserves it. I mean, the poor girl had absolutely no shot winning her season, and basically she wasted an entire summer. You know, I feel for her, and I'm rooting for her, even over Dan, who is my all-time favorite Big Brother player ever. Ever. I love Dan. But all in all, I think this season is totally going to be amazing. I think Willie will succeed where Russell failed. I think that Carol will break tons of hearts. I think America will fall in love with Ian. I mean, he could really possibly be America's player this season if they choose to bring that back. I mean, I would vote for him. I think Will and Jen will totally give the LGBTQ community a bad name, and I think that Ashley will scare everyone away from tanning salons. that's about all I have for today. Check back with me on Sunday for more updates, for more information, for more predictions. See if I'm on slop with Team Brittany, because that's who I'm going to be rooting for. Let's see, what do we have coming up? We just did HOH. We have the veto competition. I already know nominations, and I know veto players, so if you want to know those, leave a comment, and I will hopefully get back to you soon. I subscribe to live feeds, so I will be posting updates as frequently as I can. This is my first video blog ever, so if you have any suggestions, leave that in the comment box as well. I will try to adhere to them. But, yeah, I mean, make sure you guys follow me on Twitter at blucio22. That's B as in boy, Lucio 23. Sorry, not 22. For quick updates. Facebook.com/blucio for more in-depth updates. And, of course, here on YouTube.com/xgravitydefirex. Don't ask. I was totally, completely obsessed with Wicked when I created this channel. There will for sure be more video blog posts. And I can't wait. Sunday, Wednesday, Thursday, 3 favorite days of the week. So excited. Big Brother 14. Here we go. Let's do this.